Fender Squier Bass. Are you in need of a bass guitar that's reliable and affordable at the same time? Or are you just looking at this particular bass guitar and curious as to if it's a well-built bass? So I've got all of that for you coming up. Welcome. Today I'm covering my Fender bass and I'm going to tell you all about it. So let's dig in. So here it is. This is the Jazz Bass Deluxe 5 Active. That's what it's called, and that's what you're going to have to search when you're looking for this particular bass, because it's an older bass. I've had it for almost 10 years now, and that just goes to show that it's definitely lasted the test of time. So you're going to have to find one used, and that's the only thing. You're not going to find a new bass. I don't think they're making these anymore, but I've seen several of them. I've probably seen just yesterday 8 of them, and they're running about $2.99 used. And I know that it's a good bass, and it's definitely, there's nothing, unless it's been really mishandled or anything like that, then you've got to do your homework and really research that instrument that you're looking at to buy. If it's been taken care of, it's a great bass and it will last years to come, okay? So I've had it for 10 years and this thing's never given me any problems besides the active pickup, the battery going dead, and that's just a matter of operator error there. So you definitely have to find one used. You can get them from Guitar Center, Reverb, Zounds, all of those have used instruments there. You can find one there. They'll offer you a warranty as well. So if you're buying one used through them, just spend the extra $20, get the warranty. So if anything goes wrong with that, if anything is wrong with that bass before you get it, then you'll be refunding your money back. You know, you're safe in that aspect. You don't have to worry about losing your money buying a piece of junk. But this is not going to be a piece of junk at all if it's been taken care of the least amount. It's been kept in a case and not played a lot, anything, you know, just like that. But if it's been dropped and thrown, you know, just tore up, then that's probably, it's going to show you mint condition or bad condition, and then you'll know maybe not to buy that bass. So this is it right here. Made in Indonesia. Now don't fear, it's definitely made overseas. That's how the price of this is kept down. I bought it new at like $350, $379, so right around there 10 years ago. So, and that was a little bit of money then, but it's a 5-string, and it's, you know, it's well worth it. Definitely well worth it. Like I said, it's made in Indonesia, but Fender puts their name on it. It's stamped on there. You know, they're not just going to put their name on anything and let anything come in through their sales floors that's junk, okay? So they're definitely a reputable company, so you don't have to worry about that. Sometimes the quality of the factories overseas is almost held at a little bit of a higher standard than here. I've had people talk about the American-made stuff not being that great, and it all depends. You know, if that person's having a bad day that's putting that thing together, it's, you know, there's a possibility it's not put together well. That's with anything you buy. Harley Davidson, if that comes through, that certain bike comes through there and somebody's having a bad day and they don't tighten something up, you know, that's profoundly affect Harley Davidson and that particular bike or that particular bass guitar. It's not, you know, it's not guaranteed that this is going to be the same. Every single bass that comes through that person is going to be the same as the other one. Every single bike that comes through that person is going to be the same as that other one. It's, you know, there's human error in there, and that's, you know, unfortunate, but it's there. But it's usually not, it'll be, you can be rest assured that it's going to be backed up. If there's a problem with it, customer service, they will take care of you. You can be rest assured that that's going to happen, okay? So don't worry about that. But all you need to worry about is what this bad boy is made of, and that's what I'm going to get into right now. This is a big boy. It's heavy. It's at least 10 pounds. There's a big thick neck on here. You know, there's a lot of wood in here, so it's not your lightest bass guitar. It is made of basswood, so it's not that heavy, you know, your ash and stuff like that. Some of they're lighter woods, but this is basswood. It's good. It's definitely a good wood. It's not the highest quality wood, but it does great. And you've got the maple neck here. This is a 2-piece neck. It's got the maple neck, and then you've got the ebonol fretboard here. That's not a wood. It's a synthetic material that, you know, they kind of wanted to replicate the ebony fretboard, but so that's where they get the ebonol. It's a synthetic material and they put on there, so it's a little less maintenance or a little less concern when you do maintain this neck, you know, about the wood absorbing, putting certain chemicals on it. You would be concerned with if this was wood, but it's not. It's just ebonol, so you can pretty much clean it easily and effectively. So that's what I like about it. Now it's you know, like I said, when I got it, the frets, everything, it's just nicely made. Even though you think because it's made in Indonesia or any of those other factories, doesn't feel as good. But this, I mean, it's all there. There's not jaggedy fret ends on here. The fret wires are good, and it has been, like I said, I've had it for 10 years and I haven't had any problems with it. And you've got your tuning keys, you've got your standard, your Fender looking tuner keys, you know, nice and big. And we've got our, you know, here's the back of them. They're nicely made. They're open tuning keys. You've got the, you know, you've got Fender stamp right there. You've got made in Indonesia, so it's not like they're trying to hide anything from you. So, you know, just look at that. It's clean, nicely made. It's got the Squier. Squier has definitely stepped it up, and nowadays it's, you know, they're up there. They're up there. I guess you have Marcus Miller endorses them and has his own Squier out there. So they've definitely stepped up a notch, which, you know, basses do that. I got my first bass as a Cort bass from years ago, and I think it was from Sears Roebuck at the time. But now Cort's making quality basses. If you just check out Jeff Berlin, he endorses Cort, and you know, they can make a quality bass and then make quality amps. So, you know, they step it up. But just the paint, there's no pick guard on there, which I like. You know, your standard jazz bass setup. You know, nice girthy bridge here. It's not going anywhere. Like I said, I've had this thing for 10 years. I mean, I take care of it. It's not giving me any problems at all. It's just maintenance. You can't take care of these things, and they you know, they hold up. They're definitely made to hold up. I've made all the adjustments I need, fret nuts, fret nut adjustment, everything I need to make to suitable for me, I've done. And if you haven't seen that, you can jump over to iwantaplaybass.com, check out, subscribe for free, and get your free ebook on setting your bass up. And it goes over everything you need to know there. So I'll just dig in. You've got your input, and then here we've got our battery. We've got here, we can get to all the components back there, the wiring and anything. So let me get into it. We've got, this is, like I said, it's the Jazz Bass Deluxe 5 Active, which it's active, and I know there's some controversy, or maybe not controversy, but there's some people that think this switch here is a active and passive switch where you can turn it active off or make it passive. That's not the case. I know for a fact, because if this was a switch, I could turn it to passive and that would bypass that battery. But once my battery has died before, there's no signal. You can't, no matter where you turn your slap switch, there's no signal. So that's constantly active. That's not an option to turn it off and make it passive. This switch is a slap switch. This up is off. It cuts all your mids out. That's called a slap switch. It's not an active passive switch. It's a slap switch. So it's just cutting out the mids. You turn it down to the right. That's just putting all your mids back in there. That's what that is. So don't be confused. You'll see a lot of information out there, and people really think that, and they've been told that that's a passive active switch, which it isn't. Because if it was passive active, when that battery dies, you could switch it off to passive, but you can't. It dies, there's no signal. So that is a slap switch. Scooping out the mids is all it does. I like to keep mine off because I don't like a lot of mids in there. And then here we've got our volume. So we've got several knobs in here, and at first you'll be like, oh my Lord, what the heck are all these knobs? But I'm going to tell you right now what they are, so you don't have to worry about figuring it out. This is your volume knob. This right here, this is your pickup adjustment, your pickup answer right there. So back, you're right in the middle. You can feel it. It's got a little notch in the middle. That means they're both on, okay? You pull it back to you or up, it's your bridge pickup. It's your back pickup. You push it down or forward, it's your neck pickup, okay? So that's only using your neck or only using your back. Or if it's in the middle, you're using both of them, okay? Then we have a stack knob here, which is the top is your treble, and again you've got your middle. You got a notch in the middle, and you can cut your treble off, or you can boost your treble. Okay, that's your top knob. Second knob, the bottom knob is your bass. Same thing, you can cut it off or you can crank it up, boost it up. And then back here is our mids again. So those are your knobs. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated by them. Now you know what they are and how to make this bass sound the way you want it to sound. Now, like I said, this is, you know, you have your pickup, you have your battery back here. You've got to keep up with that battery. Keep a spare battery at all times with you in case it ever goes on. You want to change it before gigs. Be done with it. Don't take the chance on it dying in the middle of a set or a song. You know, you don't want that. So don't, you know, just change it periodically. Stay up, keep up with it. So with this active, it's 3-band EQ as well. Now you can listen to it. I'll play it for you. This is the 5-string. This neck is a big boy. That's why I've gotten used to the big boy neck. I've also got a Music Man, which I've done a video on that as well. I can leave a card here. You can check out that. The Music Man, the Sterling bass sub-series. It's a great bass as well. Same idea. It's made in Indonesia, but it's a quality bass. It sounds great. My only thing is, which is kind of cool, but it's that pickup is just so hot. But I've got a video here, you can check that out. I won't get into that. We'll talk about this. But the neck on that Music Man, that's what I was getting at. The neck on the Music Man is like, it's not half the size, but it is a lot thinner, a lot smaller. Here, this bad boy is about 2 and some inches wide, where that Fender is probably right at 2 inches wide. And it's a big difference, but I've gotten used to it. And even the string spacing is different. The string spacing is closer here since it's a 5-string, and there's not as much neck as the Music Man. The Music Man string spacing is further apart because it's a 4-string. But this I've gotten used to over the years, just the closeness of these strings here. So if you're going to pick one, you play with one and you just stick with it. If you're gigging, you want to gig with that one that evening, then you better practice on that one that few days before the gig. Just get back familiar with it, and it'll get easier as you do it. But you know, just keep that in mind when you're playing the 5-string, that most of them are going to be that way. The string spacing are a lot closer. There's 18 millimeters, or it's not even that much. It's a lot less than that. I don't know the specs on it to be precise, but they are closer. Just remember that. You'll know that, and whether it's 15 or 18, it's not going to make a difference. It's just closer. The only thing, like I've said in previous videos, is that the glossy neck, I could do without. It seems to get a little tacky at times, where the satin neck on the Music Man is nice and smooth. Little things like that you've got to take into account, and just know that you've got to dial this stuff in. Okay, so let's dig into it. We've got, I'm just playing this, I'll put everything, all right, so everything's cut off on here. Just the volume knob is up. And we're just, so we don't have any of that signal trying to affect our signal. And I've got the volume knob here all the way up. The pickup switch is, both pickups are going. Treble's midway, and bass is midway, and mids are midway, okay? And I've got the scoop. I'm scooping out, my slap switch is scooping out the mids, which I prefer to have it. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so that's everything down. Now let me put the back pickup on, just the back pickup. I'll crank the treble back, and I'll crank the bass back, crank everything back. Mids will be back as well. Okay, slap switch is still up, scooping the mids out. Okay, so that's everything. Let me crank it up just a little bit. Okay, so that's the treble back. Let's bring the mids back. The slap switch is now on, bring the mids in, and I'm going to boost the mids up. I'm going to give the mids all we got. I'm going to give us all the treble we have. I'm going to give us all the bass we have. And let's go to both pickups. Okay, we'll leave both pickups are going right now. So this is what it sounds like. A lot of highs in there. Okay, so a lot of highs. This would be still too much. I wouldn't even use, there's a lot of highs in there. So let's keep the slap switch on. Let's cut the mids out on the knob. Let's cut out the treble. Cut the treble out. We'll leave the bass up. Both pickups. Little bassy, little warm, nice warm sound there. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go with the front pickup with the same setup, and we'll go with the front pickup. This is what that sounds like. Okay, not too bad. Let's go with the, let's scoop the mids out. Keep the same settings, scoop the mids out. I like that. Let's scoop the mids out. Okay, that would be almost what I'd go with right there. I like that much better. I love the slap switch off. Keep scooping those mids out is, for myself, is very important. Okay, so this is the settings I would go with. Let's go with the bridge pickup. Okay, that's kind of what I would go with right there. Scooping those mids out, treble got down. Only thing I might change, I like that back pickup. Let's go with the So let's hear how the mids, we're going to kick the mids up. That's with the mids, the slap switch off, but the mid range is cranked all the way up, boosted. Kind of like that. Maybe a little bit too much mid. I'll cut that back just a little bit. want to get the high, the higher notes in there. You want to get that mix just right so you've got your low end is coming through as equal as your high end. Sometimes I've found in gigs, and it all depends on your gain, how you're setting your amp up as well. That is a big factor as well. But you definitely dial in your bass first, your signal, and then that's going through your amp, your head, your amp is amplifying that signal that you're sending it. And then you can adjust that at your head as well. But we've got to dial in this section first to where you like it and you want it. And each song, depending on what you're doing, will be a different setup. Unless you're writing your own stuff, then you can have your own tone going through every time. But if you're playing cover songs and you want to adjust your tone as to what the genre you're playing or those particular players at that time. So that's something you got to take into consideration as well. So like I say, you've got to dial in to where your high end isn't just ringing disastrously, if that's a word. I don't think so, but you know what I mean. Or you want it to be ringing just as beautiful as your low end is. You don't want it coming through to mix some kind of crazy and then your low end's barely getting through. You want your low end coming through just as consistently as your high end is. So however you set your stuff up is going to affect how those signals, those tones, those notes come through that amplifier. Okay, so I kind of went off track, but here we're talking about the Fender Squier Jazz Bass Deluxe 5 active. Okay, so remember that it's active all the time. That's something I could do without. I prefer the passive, but it seems like there's a lot of active basses out there, and they give you a little more boost when needed. But you don't need it. I don't think you need it. I think passive is fine, but you got a lot of basses that have that opportunity. They kind of just put your signal on steroids is what the active does. So, not a bad thing. Just takes a little getting used to. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, check out this video here. I've got some country bass lines that you want to check out as well. Okay, so definitely check out this video here on the best country bass lines you want to see. And then I've got some classic rock bass lines to learn as well. Kind of broaden your horizons, broaden your range. Don't just be narrow-minded to this type of music. Be a well-developed bass player and take it all in. Just learn your instrument and just play it, and make that your style. Take all of that in and make your big old pot of jambalaya. I'm Donald Witt, the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Jump over there, subscribe, become a member for free, and when you're serious about your bass playing, sign up and get well on your way. And subscribe here as well. I Want to Play Bass, your YouTube channel for everything bass. Hit that bell, get in the loop, and don't miss a beat. And I'll catch you all on the flip-flop in the next video. But check this one out first. Don't go nowhere. See you next video.